Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into something that can absolutely transform the way we teach reading. We're going to build a complete reader's toolkit, equipping our learners with 4 essential skills they really need to succeed.
So let me just start with a question. And I think this is something every educator has felt at some point. Are your students just reading the words on the page, or are they really reading? You know what I'm talking about. A student can sound out a text perfectly, but they miss the entire meaning. Well, today we're going to start changing that.
Okay, so the absolute key here is a fundamental shift in our approach. For a long time, a lot of us have treated a text as a linguistic object. We call it a tallow approach. Basically, we mine it for grammar, we hunt for vocabulary. But to build truly independent readers, we need to see text as a vehicle for information. That's a TAVI approach. The goal isn't just language practice anymore. It's about developing actual strategies to unlock the writer's message. So let's grab the first tool from our toolkit and see how this works in practice. First up, skimming. This one is all about getting the big picture.
So, what exactly is skimming? Well, it's the skill of reading super fast just to get the main idea, the gist of a text. You have to forget about the tiny details for a second. We're just trying to quickly understand the overall landscape of what we're looking at. With this skill, speed is absolutely everything.
And you know what? We can teach this as a super simple 4-step process. First, read the title. It's like a tiny summary. Then, read the whole first paragraph. After that, just read the first line of all the other paragraphs. And you finish by reading the very last paragraph completely. This little recipe gives a pretty amazing snapshot of the whole text and helps learners decide if it's even worth their time to read it more deeply. Now, of course, you can't just tell students, hey, go skim, and expect it to work. We've got to train them. You can have them match headlines to short news articles or pick the right summary out of a list. Reordering jumbled paragraphs is another fantastic exercise. But what's the secret ingredient for all of these? A really strict time limit. That's what forces them to skim and not just fall back into that old, comfortable habit of reading every single word. All right, tool number 2 in our toolkit is scanning, and I love this one. I always think of it as a kind of exciting treasure hunt. Now, unlike skimming, scanning is not about the big picture at all. It's the skill of letting your eyes just fly over a page to find very specific bits of information. A name, a date, a number. You're basically a detective looking for one crucial clue. You don't need to read the whole report, just find that one piece of evidence. And just like any good detective, you need a plan of attack. First, you have to know exactly what you're looking for before you even start reading. Step 2, picture what the answer might look like. Is it a number, a capitalized name? Then, use the text structure. Headings are your best friend here, to guide you. Now, this is the most important part. You have to ignore everything else and look only for that one piece of data. Then, finally, once you spot your treasure, then you can slow down and read that one sentence carefully to make sure you've got it right. You know, real-world texts are just fantastic for practicing this. Grab a short biography and have your students race to find all the dates or names. Or give them a TV guide or a travel brochure and ask them to find specific times or prices. This makes the skill feel immediately useful, and it shows them how they can use it in their own lives. And that actually leads us perfectly into our third tool. Intensive reading. This is where we finally get to take the deep dive. Intensive reading is pretty much what it sounds like. It's reading a short piece of text for full, complete, detailed understanding. And it's the perfect next step, right? You've scanned a document, you've found the paragraph you need. Well, what do you do now? You switch gears and read it intensively to really understand what it's saying. It's all about going from finding to truly understanding. So, how do we get our students to flex those deep reading muscles? Well, here are 3 really powerful exercises. You could do synonym matching, where they have to find words in the text that mean the same as a list you give them. Or you can do multiple choice questions, but they have to be carefully written so the wrong answers seem plausible. And then there's my personal favorite, spot the error. Let me show you how it works. You take a normal sentence and you replace a key word with something that makes no logical sense. For example, he was absolutely horrified by the beautifully cooked meal. Horrified by a beautiful meal? It makes no sense. And it forces students to read for meaning, not just words, because they have to notice that something is wrong. They have to engage with the text on a much deeper level. Okay, so we've built the foundation.
We have our tools. Now it's time for our final one, which is really the end game for any great reading program: extensive reading.
The reading expert Christine Nuttall really hit the nail on the head with this one. She said, the best way to improve your knowledge of a foreign language is to go and live among its speakers. The next best way is to read extensively in it. You see, this isn't just another classroom skill. This is a life-changing habit. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Our ultimate goal is to get our learners reading for pleasure, just enjoying it. That enjoyment is one of the most powerful, most sustainable learning aids there is. When they want to read, that's when the real magic happens. That's where true fluency is born.
But, let's be realistic. It's not always that easy. A lot of learners are reluctant to pick up a long book in another language. There are usually 5 common reasons for this, and just understanding what they are is the first step to solving the problem.
Now, the good news is that for every single one of these problems, there's a practical solution we can use. Is the text too hard? Use graded readers at their level. Are they not used to reading long texts? Find topics that they're actually interested in. Is there no clear purpose for reading? Start a reading circle where they can talk about it. They don't know what to read? Set up a little class library. See? We can systematically knock down every barrier to build lifelong readers. So there you have it. 4 essential skills to build a complete reader's toolkit: skimming for the gist, scanning for the details, intensive reading for that deep understanding, and extensive reading for fluency and pleasure. The only question left is, which tool from this toolkit are you going to use in your classroom tomorrow?